President Trump will be sending U.S. troops to another major American city. However, this major city isn't even in the top 25 most dangerous cities in the United States. However, President Trump has said he is authorizing full force. So what is going on? Well, we're going to talk about that in today's video. I want to explain what's going on and what President Trump just said that has many people extremely concerned. Look at this. It says Trump says he'll send troops to Portland, Oregon in latest deployment to U.S. cities. President Trump made it very clear that he is going to use the United States military if he deems it necessary to protect the American citizens and to protect his agenda. I want to show you something though. Look at this right here. It says Trump orders U.S. troops to Portland, authorizes full force. Look at this. It says, at the request of Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, I am directing Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, to provide all necessary troops to protect war-ravaged Portland and any of our ICE facilities under siege from attacks by Antifa and other domestic terrorists. That's what President Trump just said this morning. He says, I am also authorizing full force if necessary. That is the concerning part, full force. Now, I said this before, and I said that there is a very likely chance that we are going to see the United States go up against these domestic terrorists, as President Trump calls them. People that are fighting for the opposite side, don't want to see ICE going through neighborhoods and apprehending people and detaining them and potentially sending them back to their home country. We've seen the different reports and so many different videos of people being, almost ambushed by ICE and getting thrown to the ground, and it's tough to watch. But President Trump says this is what we have to do. We have to go after those that are breaking the law, those that were here illegally, but those that are a threat, not just to us, okay, as a government, but to all the people. I want to keep reading this. Look at this right here. It says the Trump administration has deployed National Guard troops to Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., and Memphis. The Post wasn't specific about whether he was referring to Guard troops or regular military. Now, if you are going to use full force if necessary, there's a very good chance President Trump is talking about specific military, okay, not just to the National Guard. It says right here, neither the White House nor the Pentagon immediately responded to requests for comment. It says ongoing protests outside Portland's federal ICE detention facility have escalated tensions between local officials, federal authorities, and demonstrators. Oregon lawmakers have criticized what they describe as mistreatment of detainees, while the city has challenged this facility with a land use violation. DHS has deployed federal agents to Portland in response. So we could see something, really soon, but here's the thing. The residents of Portland don't feel safe. And even though, and this is where it's somewhat of a gray area, but it's starting to get interesting, where these ICE facilities have been active for several years. These aren't brand new, but these are new problems, and it's because ICE is now actively going out into the communities to apprehend people. That's the issue. And the residents of those cities don't feel safe, some of which don't want to go outside. I talked about this several months ago as well, where if you walk through Pike Place Market, if you walked through there last year, you saw dozens of individual sellers. Okay, they were selling hats and trinkets, and some were selling different types of drinks and waters and things like that, and others are selling more cultural items, tamales and different things like that. Lately, you don't see that. The streets are are fairly empty. They're pretty bare because people don't want to go outside anymore. I'll keep reading this though. It says right here, the protests, led in part by anti-fascist activists, have at times turned violent. Federal officials have condemned the actions while Antifa-linked groups continue to call for more demonstrations, including solidarity rallies in nearby cities. That's what President Trump doesn't want. Okay? He doesn't want more rallies and protests because it's just going to put more pressure on his administration. Now, I don't know what direction we go from here. I don't know if the Trump administration is just going to send National Guard troops or if it's going to be military personnel. But here's what I do know. The Trump administration is going to crack down on illegal immigration and those that are breaking the law. Okay? Simple enough. He is going to put either the National Guard or U.S. military personnel inside some of these cities. We already seen it with Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., Memphis. President Trump wanted to do it in Chicago. There's a lot of pushback there. Now it's Portland. The list of cities and sanctuary cities is pretty long. The list of cities that the Trump administration could go into to help bring down the crime rate. Keep in mind, Portland isn't even in the top 25 of the most dangerous cities in the United States, according to a recent report. They're not even in the top 25. Okay? So, what does this mean for cities like St. Louis, New Orleans, Tacoma, Washington? What about these cities? Right? What about these cities? Is it just a matter of time before the Trump administration decides, you know what? We need to get our troops in there to bring down the crime rate. It could be. But let me ask you this question. What do you think of this? Okay? What do you think? When President Trump is sending more and more troops to cities, do you think this is a good thing? Do you think this is only going to cause more issues between the residents, the officials, and the administration? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. And I bring this up because somebody sent me this. Somebody pretty much sent me this and said, what do you think? What do you think? Well, I want to show you this as well. Look at this. So since the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, the Republican president has escalated his efforts to confront what he calls the radical left, which he blames for the country's problems with political violence. One of the things that we've seen recently is more people are willing to turn to violence to solve their issues. Some of which aren't really big problems, but they're turning to violence. It's not just the assassination of Charlie Kirk. It's not just the attempted assassination of President Trump. It's things in schools. It's in parks and churches and clubs, grocery stores. It's turning into a mess. And right now, the United States is very chaotic. So, we'll see what happens moving forward, but that's what we know as of today. So, let me know your thoughts. Do you think this is a good thing that the Trump administration is willing to push, the National Guard or U.S. military into these cities? Or do you think this just causes additional tensions with the residents, the officials, and the administration? Let me know down in the comment section below. But again, as we get more information on this and how this is going to impact you, I promise I'll bring you all the latest news and updates. But as of today, that is what we know. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.